Good day everyone, and welcome to another part of the Anime Style C tutorials. In this tutorial I'll be covering how to do a boat wake with foam that dissipates as the ship moves, or the boat moves, not the ship, it's too small. To do the project I already modeled a little boat that I used in tests. As you can see, it's very simple. It's not even based off of any picture I've seen, except for the general shape at the front, and of course knowing that the boat shape looks sort of like this, but maybe too long, maybe too short, doesn't matter. Even the engine is just like a little block with a little arm thingy on it. Now this I stuck together out of some old models. As you can see, it's nothing really fancy. It's got a few modifiers on it just to give it a little thickness. It's fine. As you can see, I already animated the prop. It's not even a proper in. I took this off another model that I made quite a few years back, so it's a little bit of a mishmash. Okay, what you will be happy to know is that we're not even going to be using an ocean modifier on this project. So let's just call this one our sea or water surface. Add a new material to it. Let's call this sea. Before we color this, we are going to be using our world. Let's go properties and make sure your blend and real sky are ticked. These colors will change anyway, so environment lighting has to be a 0.5 or higher. Gather method, ray trace, has to be 0 or 1. The environment lighting doesn't have to be 0.5, you can go lower or higher depending on your scene, but in general for daylight scenes you are going to be needing 0.5 or higher. Okay, so now going to the texture area of the world. Just make sure this little world is visible, or just check over there. Say new and say clouds.000 and go blend. Not blend, clouds. So used to using blend textures. Go to ease and set this to global. Take that off, turn these on. Let's make this 8. Lot of depth. Now this color, this black, will be our darkest sky blue. If that makes any sense. So we first get our horizon color. I'm fairly happy with that. And now we just up the saturation to be about there. That looks nice. Now I want you to duplicate this clouds texture, and I want to make sure that it's set to global, and this has to be set to 4. Change the offset so it's not obvious that you're using the same texture again, and this time we're removing the white. If you want to, you can keep the blue, but it's a little bit more convincing if you keep the white. So let's just up the blue. Something like that. It's nice. Now you can duplicate that again. And this one is for the front clouds. So in order to get the right color, you're going to be making this a grayer color, and that one we can keep white, and this one will be a almost pure white. There we go. And we're removing the blue and we're making it white. There we go. Now we just set this to global, take our blend, turn on those, and let's say make it about 2 or 3. Both will be fine. Let's give it a stronger look, something along those lines. Yeah, and unlike the hard clouds, let's go with soft. Something along those lines. Okay, cool. Now we're going to be adding our horizon over our clouds. Not horizon, it's horizon. Oh, this is not a good sign. Go ramp, set this at 0.5. Make it blue, a very deep blue for the ocean. Something like that'll do. Duplicate the color down at the bottom. Put this at set this on at 0.501, and then this one at 0.5, and make its alpha full. Select position number 2, and then set this one at your sky color. So in order to get to that texture, we need to go rendered in the camera, actually. Yeah, aiming for this color right over here. That one. That one. Okay, that's excellent. Now let's duplicate that. Move it over. And we want to get that same color right there. And now for this one, no, not that one, this one, we simply reduce the saturation so that it's approximately there. And you can move this down and set it to ease, and actually take off the alpha of that texture. Turn these on, set it to vertical and global. Now if you hit save, and let's just set the camera back to its default. As you can see, I have worked with this project before. Just want to put the camera back in its default position, 90:00, and that looks cool. Just want to check the rotation. I think the rotation might be a little off. No, rotation is perfect. Okay, let's give ourselves a global view, and there you have it. A very, very basic setup for your environment, and it looks nice. So we'll be using this. Okay, now I want you to open your world settings again in this area. This is simply so we can color our sea with the proper tone. So you can just open this color area, click one of these, and drag the color. Set to toon shading. Let's say it's 1.28. We're not using specularity. That's fine. It's fine. Full oversampling and receive transparent shadows, no auto bias. That's cool. This one also has to be set at 0. Let's adjust our 3D cursor to be at 0 as well. Okay, that's cool. Now we need to unwrap this. Pressing tab and pressing U gives us the unwrap menu, and because it's a plane, Blender already has default settings to make it work for us instead of against us, so that's nice. That looks cool. Little boats over on this side for the moment. We'll be bringing back into the area quickly. I like this. This is nice. We don't need a very, very big one. This is just an example. And let's see what else. We do need to subdivide this, because we're going to be adding like a wake waves to the surface. So let's add an image texture. Let's call this one dynamic paint, and let's call this one a node texture. Yeah, that's fine for now. Okay. So I just untick those so they don't make this thing all black. Now we can add our little boat to the equation. Little ship. No, it's a boat. It's a boat. It's a boat. I was correct and I made it wrong. Okay, let's just make it small enough so that it makes a good impression. Okay, for this tutorial we're not going to be bothering with turning the boat or anything like that. You don't have to worry about doing something specific to turn it. If you just turn the boat over the surface, it's going to turn the wake, and the wake's still going to dissipate properly and all that kind of stuff. I just want to show you what the wake looks like. So I'm just going to keep it off the water for the first few frames. Take it down a little bit. Okay, that's cool. Now, as you can see, we have a little boat here, and now we're going to be adding brushes to them, and we're going to be adding a canvas to our water surface. So what I want you to do is I want you to select your boat, say add brush. We're going to be using mesh volume and proximity. Proximity is going to be very low, like 0.01, which is just to give us a little bit more meat to work with, if you will. Let's add a brush to our motor. This is going to be touching the water. Add a brush here. If it manages to surface, that it does have an effect. Give all of our blades a brush, not material, just a brush. There we go. Something along those lines should do it. Okay, that's already got a one, and that's nice. Okay, now let's add something here. Let's call this dynamic paint. Let's add a canvas. Call this wake waves, and call it waves under surface type. Open borders, otherwise it's going to behave as if these are the borders of a pond. Okay, that's great. Now we're going to be animating our little boat to run through the water. So insert a keyframe at the first frame. You can use location and rotation if you're going to be turning it around inside the water and all that kind of stuff. We are not. So just go location at 250, pull it through so that it goes up to there. Insert location. And now go into your graph editor. As you can see, everything is by default selected. Go channel, extrapolation, and linear. Basically what this means is that the animation is endless. So if you were to go back, and you can see that this is our last keyframe, look what happens. See, there it goes. Okay, let's see if this runs at the proper speed that we're looking for. I don't want to spoil the surprise first. I just want to see if it moves. I think it's technically the right speed, but it looks so slow. Okay, let's adjust our speed. It's a little too slow for my taste. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going into the dope sheet. So select the dope sheet. Look for your boat shape. This cone is our engine running. It's not the boat itself. So just select this and move it over a bit. I want it to move fairly fast. I don't want it to... Yeah, you see, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, that's a good speed for the boat. Okay, so let's add our sea back. And let's see what it does as it drags through the water. It looks nice. And let's add a little bit more subdivision. It's like it's just not getting enough subdivision. Just want one more level, not a lot. Okay, let's play that again. Okay, that's nice enough. I want to make sure that when we bake this, we add some sub steps so that it's nice and thorough instead of lazy. So let's bake this. Okay, with that baked, now we can see what it looks like. See, it's a little bit more consistent. I like that. Its open borders are fine. I like that. It's nice and prominent. Let's see if you can see it from this side. If you deselect it, yeah, you can actually see it. Okay, so let's go T and say smooth. Now we're going to be... Oh, it didn't. Okay, now let's add another canvas and call this one foam. Sorry if I seem to be running through this. I'm really trying to just finish this up. So we have a good result without taking forever to accomplish it. We don't need a special brush group for this. we do need to add a subdirectory called wet maps or boat wet maps. Boat wet maps. It's just so when you have more than one canvas that uses an image sequence that you can distinguish which one is which one. Because the names you can adjust here as well if you want to, but having everything in one folder is really just not going to work. It's just not. So let's put this to 1.5. It's a good spread speed, and we can bake that. Okay, that's great. Now go into your material, select your dynamic paint texture. Don't worry about it doing this weird thing. And just make sure you don't tick this unless you want to just preview it like this. And now I want you to go add the texture. So go open and do that. Okay, that's cool. Now since you see it's set to single image, there's nothing going to view here. You have to set it to image sequence, take out the alpha, set it to the maximum number of frames that you have selected over here, and immediately you see it. Now just say auto refresh and cyclic. Okay, with that we are happy. Let's just do this. Yeah, that looks great. Don't worry about this, this is just shadows. So what you can do is you can leave texture view now. Okay, so make sure it's unticked. Select your node texture, and that's great. Don't worry about any of these, that's all fine. And go into the node editor. This is just a little setup for the motion blur. Select use nodes, get rid of this one, move away from that, and save. Okay, now I want you to add 3 groups of 2 color ramps. The reason for this is we are going to be adjusting the foam. The first one will be our pure white foam that the boat makes as it goes forward. The second one will be the transition point, and the last one will be the dissipation. I think it's called dissipation, or let's call it dissolve, or whatever you want to call it. It's the second group, that's the third group. And let's add our dynamic paint texture. That will be dynamic paint. Add it to the first color ramp of every group. Like that. That's good. Now I want you to also add a cloud texture. There we go. This one will be going into the first color ramp. I want you to add another one. I'm going into the second one. And I want you to add yet another one and add it to the last one. The reason we are adding 3 different cloud textures is because every one of them is going to be different. Okay, now we are going to add translate nodes, so the foam is actually going to be organic. So add that to every texture except the dynamic paint texture. Ooh, misclicked there. Okay. So that's over there, that's also over there, and that goes over there. Now in order to move these without damaging our look, we're going to be using what is known as a curve time node. And we're going to be adding a math node to just reduce the effect thereof. And we're going to set it to multiply to 0.1. So stick that in there. If you want to, you can clamp it, but it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. So just stick that into every translate node. Oh dear. Wow, okay. That's nice. I like it. Now the first 2 groups we're going to be adding over each other since they are complementary. But there's a step in between this. What you need to do is you need to add a math node again and set it to less than. Less than, okay. Let me show you what it does. If you take a cloud texture, say textures, say cloud, and you add a plane texture, and you put one in there, you get that. It's basically making everything integer, so you don't get these gray values. Everything is pure black and white, which absolutely plays into our favor. So just delete these again. Let's just use this one over here. Okay, this is going to be applied to every group because we're taking the difference, or not the difference is the wrong word, between the dynamic paint texture and our other texture to define the shape of the foam. That's what the less than is for. Okay, that's good. Okay, now, as I said before, we're going to be adding these together because they're complementary. Set it to 1, and of course to the output. Okay, and in this one we will be multiplying over the others, so set it into the second one because this blend method is applied over color 1. So if you put it over here, this will be multiplied over that. So set that to 1 and set that to multiply, and of course the original over here like that, but we'll be using our output for the moment, so we're not going to be multiplying just yet. Okay, that's great. Okay, everything seems to be set. I'm happy with this. So let's get to adjusting our foam. Now, in order to adjust it properly, you do need your 3D view so you can see what in the world you are actually busy with. So let's select rendered. Fantastic. Let's flip this around and let's just, where's our second one? Okay, here's the second one. And flip this one around as well. As you can see, it's already shaped. Just want to show you what it looks like as it moves. So you can see that it changes. Now the reason it changes so radically is because this texture is absolutely massive. It needs to be like 0.05 or something along those lines. So you can see as it moves that it does foam out, for lack of a better term. This one has to be a F2 minus F1 with only a single base. And this also has to be smaller to be about like 0.07. Just a rough guesstimate over there. Okay, it has to go this way. Oh, I'm adjusting the wrong thing. Okay, it has to be the second one. Okay, this one has to be adjusted. Yeah. It's because I followed the wrong line of sight. Something along those lines is okay. Okay, it seems we're going to have to reduce this quite a bit. It's way too strong. Okay, I'm going to try to be at about there. I just want to see if I can't make it disappear altogether so that I can, oh, we can. I just want to use a viewer node, output viewer. No, there. Let's see what that does. It's okay, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, now you see that's the problem, it's way too small, so this has to grow out. There we go. See, our texture is also needing inversion. Ha! That's the thing, that's the thing. Okay, now we're getting closer to what I'm looking for. Okay, now we do need it to break up from almost at the beginning of the foam. Something along these lines should be good. Okay, now let's see if we can't reduce the texture over here. Oh, this one's basically non-existent. Never mind reducing it. Okay. It does need to exist actually, so we do need to add some solid foam to this. Let's make it like that. Just absolutely extreme, but it looks so cool. See, you can see the difference. Okay, that's fine for now. Let's just see if we can't adjust the foam thickness a little bit. Let's go something like that. Okay, now to add our dissipation, if you are happy with this kind of dissipation, you really don't need to add anything else to it. But if you wanted to go a little bit more extreme, you do need the dissipation. So I'm going to add that anyway. And we need a color, no, not a color, a viewer. Okay, we don't need to see this for the moment. We do need to up this. And let's, oh, texture is way too big. Let's go 0.02. Yeah, 0.02 is fine. And we need to only have like a back area of the foam to multiply over it. So we do need to invert it. And we need to scale this out so that it's only at the very end. Okay, it's hit rendered. Yeah, something like that. I really like the result. Okay, that's excellent. Okay, hit save. Now to make this add properly to our C, we do need to give it a little bit of an alpha situation. So let's just clamp that down. This one's already clamped, and we need to make this transparent and white. That looks great. Now as you can see, this is not enough. As you look at the boat over here, there's really no influence over there. So you have to model something that will fit around the boat. So hit save and let's close this. You can leave this view. Now I want you to add a plane. We're going to be modeling a wake. We don't need this one on UV unwrapping or anything like that. It's not going to be painting, so just put it along the shape of the boat. Not too extreme. This one has to be around the back. Oh, sorry, I just have to get rid of the proportional editing. It's not good. Okay, in order to add a plane out of thin air like I just did, you just say Shift A and select plane, or you can just add it over here. Okay, that's good. I like that. Let's give it a loop cut. Give it a few loop cuts around the sides. That looks good. Now, so you can actually select the surroundings of this. No, don't do it just yet. Almost. Almost made a big mistake. Let's see, it has to be just above the water. That's good. Now these have to go up and a little bit around. Something like that will do. Same with these. I actually need to spread out slightly and also go back. And the same for these. They also need to be spread out. Okay, that looks nice. Also taking this back. Taking these back to the edge over here, and then taking these way back and spreading them out. Something like that. Looks like a little leaf or something. It's oddly shaped. Okay, now select these and just take them up slightly. Remember, this is a boat wake, it's not something strange looking. Okay, and that's fine. This one has to dissipate, so we want to take this further back and down. So it's below the water surface. And that should be it. I just want to add a little bit of subdivision over here. So we can drag this back with proportional editing and pull it a little down, like that. Okay, that's cool. Now select your edges. That looks great. And extrude everything down, making sure this one is selected as well. And extrude our edges down so that we have a 3D shape. Turn off proportional editing when you do this. Otherwise you may model the wrong things. That's good. I really like that. Yeah, I'm not going to adjust the other stuff there. That looks good. If you want to, you can just add another 2 sets of loop cuts like that, and that should be good. Now I want you to add subdivision after you call this wake waves. Call this one wake waves. Also needs to be toon shaded to fit the rest of the foam. Also has to be a white, not a grey, otherwise it's not going to show properly. No specularity, just like the foam. See if transparent, auto rebias, and we want full oversampling. That looks good. Set this to smooth and add subdivision. Okay, let's give it 3. And I want you to also now add displace. Say wake foam, wake wave foam, that's a good one. Set it to global. Make it a cloud texture or whatever other texture you are comfortable using for stuff like this. And we don't need a ramp. We definitely do need to adjust the intensity. Something like that should do. It's still a little too intense. Let's reduce some of the subdivision. Looks good. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to parent this to the boat shape so that when the boat moves, the wake moves. So let's see what that looks like. See, now we have something that looks like that. It looks very funny off center, but it really does work. Okay, so if you were to render this out right now, you would see something that's a little bit too much because of this. So you do need to reduce the influence over here. The way we do that is by simply selecting it again and adding a vertex group that's weight painted to not affect this area so intensely. So what you can do is you can go vertex groups under, I think it's object, no, it's not object data. It is object data. Okay, cool. And set this to influence. Call this not just influence, displacement influence. Okay, that's good. Select displacement influence. As you can see, it'll be totally affected at the moment. So what I want you to do now is I want you to go into weight painting mode, and I want you to paint the whole thing to be fully affected. Okay, that's good. Now if you were to play this back, see it's fully affected. Set this weight to 0 and set the strength very low and set your radius very low, so that when you zoom in you can literally just touch this up right there, something along those lines, so that if you were to move this now, wait for it, okay, see we need to adjust a little bit on the inside as well, so I'm going to just give it a little bit more strength. It needs to stick to the boat in a way. Something along those lines will be good. Okay, let's look at that. Much better. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's go to object mode. Now if you want this to work from underwater, all you need to do is to just add an alpha plane over here. I call it an alpha plane because it's literally a plane that you set along the x-axis like this, so that when you add an alpha texture to this, you can go here to your wake, add a new texture, and just set it down here to be mapped to an object, and then you select the plane from this list. That way this will be transparent underwater. So let me quickly show you how that works. Go new, let's add a material to this, let's call this alpha texture, not slough, not slaffa, it's alpha, and we don't need it to be transparent. Now we say alpha texture, go blend. We need to see what we're working with here actually, so let's just do this. Okay, cool, it's already set correctly, so say constant, put this at 0.5, make the black area transparent. You can make this generated and change the direction. Yep, that's correct. As you can see, it's perfectly level with the water, and that's great. Now you select your wake and you select your alpha texture, and you make sure it's set to object called plane, and you go turn on transparency. Let's use Z transparency for the sake of this reference, and select alpha, no color. Now as you can see, there's still a bit of a shadow thing over there because this thing is not adjusted to receive transparent shadows. See? Now you can see a thing, but if you were to make the water transparent, let's just give it a slight transparency, you can see that the water's waves, the foam, it stops level with the water surface. See, look at that. Amazing. Can't really see properly like that. Let's just increase this. See? So it's not a solution that's not practical for most applications, but it's not ideal for every application. Sometimes you do literally have to model something else. Now if you want to reduce and increase this, all you need to do is just add a shape key to it and scale it down. And that is basically it. I hope this tutorial has been informative for you. I hope you can use this method. And I am super thankful that God showed me that this is not something that's impossible for us to do in Blender and do it well. And have a great day and God bless. I will be using, just as a last note, I will be rendering this out using freestyle and a few other techniques to really make it look fast and all that kind of stuff, just to make the result pop a little bit. So again, have a great day and God bless. Thank you for watching.